Previously in our trip, we crossed the borders from UAE into Saudi Arabia. We set our first camp at an easy spot and gathered the team. Next morning, we kept driving the road until the last petrol station at Shbeta, where we filled everything we got. We started entering the empty quarter by taking Al-Kidin Trail. Finally, we arrived at our destination for the day of Glimat Al-Sekra. Then we set our second camp just behind the well and enjoyed a breathtaking empty quarter quality sunset. We are waking up next morning with a cool weather and cloudy sky. You wish no better climate in a hot desert. Everyone was so relaxed and some nice chit-chat was going on between people around camp. We kept following Al-Kidin Trail to our next destination, so let me explain in a minute where we are going next. Yesterday, we were following Al-Kidin Trail for 130 kilometers, reaching our second camp at the well of Glimat Al-Sekra. Today, we are following Al-Kidin Trail again for 90 kilometers more, where the trail ends. Then we are entering the pure sand for the first time in our trip, driving no tracks of any sort for 50 kilometers to reach the well of Glimat Groon. Then we are driving towards the east over the sand to reach the famous oasis of Beed al-Lihi, where we are camping tonight. The area around Groon and Beed al-Lihi belongs to sand formation called Al-Dakaka, which I'm going to explain a little bit more about later in the video. Tomorrow, starting from the oasis of Beed al-Lihi, we are continuing heading east, covering around 500 kilometers in 5 days to exit at Al-Daris petrol station, where our trip ends. The other lines you see in the map are just more possible options included in my map for emergency or for future trip plans. Here is the final map that shows the actual route taken in the trip, including names of areas and places along the way. I will come to explain a little bit more about each one of these places as we come across each one of them in the videos later. Finally, after 2 boring days following Al-Kidin Trail, we are on the actual sand of الربع الخالي for the first time and expecting nothing less than a great adventure. After 50 kilometers of a beautiful drive on the sand of Al-Dakaka formation, we are arriving to the well of Glimat Groon. Groon is one of the many sulfur water wells spread in the empty quarter, and this one is very hot. What looks like a nice bathtub here is actually very tempting for having a dip, only if you wish to end up like a boiled egg. However, that didn't stop me from enjoying a free, endless hot shower in the middle of nowhere, as I took showers at every single one of these wells on the way. So, if you're visiting empty quarter, having a hot shower every day is guaranteed. We are having our lunch break at this point before moving to our next destination. We are moving to our next destination through the sand formation of Al-Dakaka. So let me explain in a minute what the Dakaka is all about. Al-Dakaka is a large area of sand located in mid-south empty quarter. Al-Dakaka is an Arabic word, of course, and could be translated to English as the compact or the pressed sand. That's very much specifying the sand formation there. The sand of Al-Dakaka is mostly forming in a very long, continuous, linear, parallel chains of dunes, taking direction north to south and leaving huge gaps between each two parallel chains. These gaps could be 1 to 3 kilometers of a flat, open, clear, sandy surface. That's why it's fast and smooth to travel along these gaps with no worries. This is exactly what we are doing since we left Al-Kidin Trail and headed to the well of Groon. Because of its ease of movement, Al-Dakaka was also taken by the earliest foreign empty quarter explorers like Bertram Thomas and John Felby by the 30s of the last century. These onboard clips are showing how the drive is looking like cruising along the large gap sandy surface. Personally, it's a weird feeling of lost in unlimited space I never experienced before in all my previous empty quarter trips. The car in the front, nothing indicating the space limits for me, and no objects are visible to compare sizes and distances. So it's almost like flying in outer space, but somehow on Earth. That makes it a very special experience I will never forget. To break the silence, we are climbing up the dunes from time to another, enjoying magnificent views all around. As we left Groon, we are now heading east across the directions of the dunes. But it is still mostly a smooth drive with plenty of joy, cutting peaks of the dunes from time to another and stopping for beautiful views every time. By the afternoon, we are approaching our final destination for today, the oasis of Bid al-Lihi. As soon as we are arriving there, everyone is amazed by the vegetation and by all other signs of life here. The presence of water is also adding a lot of life to the atmosphere. We are discussing whether if we set a camp down here, protected from wind and dust, or if we look for a better spot. Finally, we are deciding to set a camp higher on the dune just above the oasis, where we found a walking blue tent for the first time in the history of camping. You don't expect what you might find in the empty quarter, right? It is just a wonder world. That was our wonder for this episode. See you with more wonders in the next episode. Bye bye.